This is Ultimate Soccer with Soccer Steve.
And welcome back to the Ultimate Soccer Show. I hope you had a great time watching this game. Now we're going to dissect it in the post-game of Forge FC and Pacific FC from Tim Hortons Field. I got to say, I expected Forge FC to start to own the first half as this started out, and I was very much disappointed with that fact. In fact, you have to say, Pacific FC came out from the very first minute, and started to own the game, started to control the game, control the play, control where the ball ended up defensively when they didn't have it, channeling people away from the goal. But more to the point, they went on the road and they didn't stay in their own half. They did dominate the play, and they did play as if they wanted to win this. They had way more urgency and they had way more guile in front of net too. In fact, in the first half, Pacific FC had 10 shots on net, 4 on target, and quite frankly, without Henry in goal, it probably would have been 2-0 to Pacific. I mean, there was only one team in it, and it really did disappoint me for a while there, because I expected a tussle, or at least a real competition between these two juggernauts, but it never really happened in the first half. It never really materialised, and you got to say what did materialise was total domination from Pacific FC, and Jim Merriman put his team together perfectly for this one. It took a lot of energy out of the team in that first half. Remember that moving forward. But at half-time, it was 0-0, and I was really surprised about that fact. I fully expected goals before half-time. At least one. It just didn't happen. Second half kicks off, and it's pretty much the same. And things start to get a little bit better for Forge FC in those opening minutes, but eventually that just subsided again, and it ended up looking like the first half where Forge really couldn't get it going, and Pacific FC were dominating everything that happened. And then, on 60 minutes, Jordan Brown gets the go-ahead goal. It would be the only goal of the game, and I'll describe for you. Bustos gets the ball on the right side of the penalty box. He comes across, he fakes left, he fakes right. He fakes left, he fakes right to go inside the defender. He eventually comes to the left and scoops a shot that looks like it could be going in the bottom left corner. However, Henry gets another good save on it, but it doesn't go too far, and it spills in front of net. And all of a sudden, Jordan Brown, a defender, and Henry are fighting for the ball. Jordan Brown comes up with the ball, and it goes over the line, central in the goal from about 5 yards. That's the only goal of the game, and you would have thought Pacific would have got more. And that's on 60 minutes. And you're looking at Forge FC, you're looking at Bobby Schmerniotis, and you're thinking, Bobby, time's ticking, man. You need to get something done here. On 60 minutes, the goal came in. On 75 minutes, Bobby Schmerniotis takes out Becker and doesn't let him come back in. It's a substitution right on the line. Bang, you're out. And things start to change. Forge get into the game. There's a few more melees in front of goal. In fact, on 94 minutes, you would have said that Welshman should have headed it in instead of headed it wide for the tying goal. But it never happened. Everything that Forge tried just did not come off. And those last 15 minutes would be where Forge really tried to get something on the board. But again, every time they tried something, Pacific had an answer for it. And on the night, you have to say it's a great result for Pacific FC. It's a great result. It really is. And it puts them now in second spot. So, Pacific are now in second, Forge are in third, Cavalry are in fourth. It's coming down for the final games of the season to see who finishes second, third, and fourth. But Pacific FC on the road at Cavalry, they got a chance. If they win, they could finish first. If they win, they finish second, guaranteed. But if they win, they could finish first. Should Ottawa take a loss in the next game. It's going to be an interesting factor, but let's see what happens. But for now, there's the table. That's what's happening. You can see where's where and who's what, and who's got what and who doesn't. And things are coming down to the final game of the season. Let's take a look at the last 4 games. So, here's the first 2 teams for the last game of the season. You got FC Edmonton taking on Valor. You think Valor should win that? I'd love to see Edmonton win that one. I'd love to see Edmonton finish with a win. Nothing against Valor. But I'd love to see Edmonton actually get something from the season on the final day. Would be nice. Wyszczewski hat-trick. It's not going to happen, but wouldn't that be nice? Lovely. And then finally on that side, Forge FC taking on Halifax Wanderers. Is it going to be another miserable day at Tim Hortons Field? They need points. They really need points to solidify a chase for second spot, because on the other side of this equation, as I'm going to tell you right now, and on the other side, you got Cavalry taking on Pacific and Atletico taking on York. Atletico taking on York first of all. Atletico win, First place is theirs. Then you know what's happening after that. In the other game, Pacific away to Cavalry, that has implications. You see, Pacific want the win to charge for first spot and to seal second spot. But if Cavalry do the dirty and win that game, and they are the home team, and Cavalry get the 3 points, go to 47, and would be 1 point ahead of Pacific FC. Now, if Forge FC flatline against Halifax, Cavalry could finish second. So there's still very much to play for. No one's got second in the bag. No one's got third or fourth in the bag. It's still open for the final game of the season, and for everything to come down to the final game, down to the wire. That's exactly what you want, right? Right. And back to the game tonight. You have to say Forge FC really didn't do themselves any favours tonight. It wasn't the best performance that they gave out. And when you saw Becker coming out on 75, I just knew things wouldn't end well. They hadn't gone well before his omission, but it just wasn't Forge's night. And I think that Jim Merriman must have got his team up for that game because, let's face it, they're on a roll right now, and I think they're dangerous. And Cavalry FC, you're better looking for a top game against Pacific because they want the points, and I think they're on a mission. And although Cavalry's now turned with a win and things are looking good, I think that's going to be a fantastic game. In fact, all the 4 final games are going to be top games. But Cavalry and Pacific has a lot riding on it. So does Forge and Halifax. At the end of the day, those 2 games will dictate who finishes second, third, and fourth, and possibly first. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you on the weekend after more games. And the next place I'm going to, I've been invited to training for Cavalry FC at Atco Field, Spruce Meadows. You don't normally get invited to training in the media, but they've invited me to training, so I'm going. And then I'll be at the game doing my job. Okay, guys, have a great night. I hope you enjoyed that game. If you watched it, if you didn't, you missed a good one. And Pacific FC did themselves royally with a shot in the arm with a 1-0 win on the road, sitting in second, just a point behind Atletico. Go Pacific, go everybody in the league. It's a fantastic league. Get behind it, and I'll say cheers, guys.
So keep winning games for sure. You're the team we all adore. Oh, we're going to guitar. Our team has come so very far. Our team has come so far.
The Ultimate Soccer Show. Join me, listen, you'll love it. Everybody does.